Hello, 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 it's coffee time, and I'm completely unprepared because I was doing other things like you do. And then I realised the time, and I thought, bloody hell, if I'm going to do coffee time, I better jump on now. And I've not looked at what's happening in the news at all this morning. I imagine everything's fine. Yeah, I'm sure everything's alright in the Middle East. We won't talk about that. Meanwhile, pothole madness. This is the M25. We're going to M25, that ring road in London, in that there London. Go circles London. It's the biggest car park in Europe, I believe. Ha ha, that used to be the joke. But yeah, apparently there was a massive pothole. There's a massive pothole on the M25. And there is some footage of it, but it's only like 15 seconds, and I don't think it's going to be any good. But we've got to sit through an 8-second advert. Boy, we're doing this early. And yeah, we'll just wait for it to do its business. So yeah, this pothole has taken out all these cars. It's damaged all these cars, but I don't know if we actually get to see the pothole. Very important, isn't it? Yeah, this was near Surrey, and how many cars was it? 20 cars taken out. We can see some of the damage by this pothole on the M25. That's not good, is it? Again, it's high speed. You're travelling at high speed, and I don't know if there's any more damage. No, there isn't. But yeah, lorry driver Blaine Conway was making his way home when he heard a massive bang. The impact punctured one of his tyres on his Vauxhall combi van, and he said, I thought, well, that's going to cost me. But yeah, he had to walk to get a tyre, which he carried back to the van. Yeah. He said, well, I was walking up the hard shoulder and people were looking at me thinking, that poor bloke. It started to rain, and as soon as I got back to the van with the tyre, it stopped. But yeah, other vehicles suffered cracked alloys, with more drivers helping each other out to repair their cars by sharing jacks and spare tyres, so everyone was helping each other. But yeah, it's not currently known if National Highways will be compensating the drivers, but motorists can make red claims if they are injured or if their car's damaged on the highway. But yeah, it's really dangerous, especially if you are travelling at high speeds and you have a blowout. Not good, not good. Here we go. Here's medical news. We're jumping straight to medical news. This is the story of Caroline Cray Quinn. She has an interesting condition called mast cell activation syndrome, MCAS. Here she is. One for the dads. Here she is. And because of her condition, right, a kiss could kill her, yeah. MCAS is a disorder that causes blood cells to inappropriately overreact to certain foods, fragrances, and other potential environmental triggers. And Miss Quinn's MCAS is particularly severe and is only left her able to eat 2 kinds of foods, oats and a specially prepared nutritional formula. Poor cow. Any other food could see her having a potentially fatal reaction. And again, this is what happens to her when she has a breakout. Again, it's almost like an allergy, isn't it? It's called MCAS. And yeah, she had severe food allergies before she was diagnosed with MCAS in 2017. What a condition, eh? So no okey pokey for her. So yeah, even kissing someone who's eaten foods that she's allergic to could trigger the dangerous reaction, and it makes her love life complicated. She's developed a series of strict rules so that any potential love interest can, interact with her safely. She said, in order for someone to kiss me, they cannot eat anything for 3 hours prior. They can also eat any 6 of my main anaphylactic allergens: peanuts, nuts, sesame, mustard, seafood, or kiwi. 24 hours prior to kissing me. And they have to brush their teeth also. So she's never had nuts in her mouth. She's never had any nuts in her mouth at all. What, Darren? You read this out just to do a nut in the mouth joke? Hey, look. It's not my fault. Daily Mail made me do it. So yeah, very unfortunate story that. But here she is with her boyfriend Ryan, whose nuts I'm sure she's had in her mouth. Look, I'm just interacting with this. I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Ian Hislop, from Have I Got News for You? He was in a taxi. This is in Soho, central London. This was yesterday at 10 a.m. For those of you who don't know, this is his wanted picture. I mean, this rolls into my punchline. But yeah, he was in a cab when someone opened fire with a gun. Yeah, this was close to the offices of Private Eye, because he also edits Private Eye magazine, as well as being on Have I Got News for You. Here he is in the offices. There you go. It's a typical editorial office. That's how I remember him. And yeah, the window was shot out of the taxi, and they're not sure if they were aiming at Hislop or what happened. But the cab driver told detectives that the car was at a standstill when he heard a noise to something striking the window. But yeah, police are reporting that they're keeping an open mind as to any motive. Now again, obviously, as we've seen with his picture here, Hislop is obviously the leader of a major crime gang in London, isn't it? He's hiding in plain sight. You're unsuspecting the Hislop gang, But yeah, he's funny enough. He's returning with Have I Got News for You on Friday, but I'm betting a tenner that it's going to open with Paul Merton, blowing the barrel of his revolver. What do you reckon? They're going to make a comedy skit out of it? But yeah, what a strange story. Yeah, apparently it happened near here in Dean Street. God, I remember walking those streets back in the day. Meanwhile, are you going to see Oasis, their reunion tour next year? Well, some fans, they're not very smart. Some fans apparently have buried drugs in the park ahead of the band's tour. Yes, bands have boasted about burying drugs in Heaton Park in Manchester so that they're ready. Yeah. So there's overhead. Imagine doing it and forgetting where you've buried them. Yeah, apparently that's a thing now. That's a thing. They've actually done that. And these fans have confessed to addiction counsellors. You'd have to have a problem, wouldn't you? Drug and alcohol rehab facility Providence Project have said, we've spoken to members of an addiction community who have told us they've already stashed drugs in the park. So we were warning organisers to be vigilant. So there you go. That's one way of dealing with your problem, isn't it? But yeah, the band have also announced venues in North America, which is unusual because I didn't think they were that popular in America. They didn't really kind of break it. Always the gigs always kind of collapsed before they did it. In other music news, Pink Floyd finally sold their catalogue, didn't they? 400 million quid to Sony. David Gilmour woke up this morning feeling a lot happier that he doesn't have to deal with Roger Waters anymore. And so there you go. They've sold the recordings and the mechanical likeness, their likenesses, so that we could get a Pink Floyd movie. Oh, that'd be exciting. But you're going to get loads more T-shirts, I reckon, and reissues and box sets and whatnot. But they've not sold their actual rights to their songs, only the recording rights. So that's why they only got 400 million. If they'd have thrown everything in, I think they would have got more. So, yeah, that's it. Pink Floyd, a quid's in. That was a little bit of business news there. A little bit of business news, yeah. What else have we got? Oh, this is a weird one. I don't know if you remember this. This goes back a few years. This is for people in the UK. This is the. Do you remember the Shoreham air show disaster where 11 people were killed? Here's a still of the action. I think the plane came down on the road next to the field that they were flying. Again, it was these are the victims who were killed at the Shoreham airshow crash. Yeah, Andrew Hill, this so-and-so, he's the guy responsible. He actually walked away from it all. Again, you just think, how the hell did that happen? He's back in court. Why? Because he's asking for his flying licence back. Can you believe it? Yeah. Can you believe this person? They suspended his licence. Hill is a former British Airways captain. He nearly died after his Hawker Hunter plane crashed into a fireball on the A27 in West Sussex. But yeah, he's appearing in front of a panel today, pleading for his licence to be reinstated. Meanwhile, relatives of the victims are obviously furious at this. Carolyn Schlitz's son, Jacob, who was 23 at the time, was killed on his way to football. She said, "We're furious that he even wants his licence back, and considering his defence at the trial, it is sheer arrogance that he thinks he deserves it." If I remember, at the trial, he refused to answer any questions about the incident, pleaded ignorance. Yeah, it's believed that Hill is applying to have his private and commercial licences returned. He was found not guilty of manslaughter by gross negligence of the 11 victims, but 3 years later a coroner found all 11 men were unlawfully killed following a series of gross errors by the pilot. You can't. I mean, he should be in prison. The coroner said that the flying had been exceptionally bad. How, at a trial, you can be found not guilty and then a coroner say, "Oh no, he did it," and then he walks away? It's just absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Investigations by air experts at the time did not support Hill's claims that the crash was caused by cognitive impairment. Yeah, so there we go. What a so-and-so. Seriously, no conscience at all. No conscience at all. He must be a machine. He must be a robot. I don't know. Oh dear. Okay, this is one I didn't have on my bingo card. This is at the. This is a music party organised by TikTok and UK Music, where Peter Andre is having fun with apparently some Tories and that who were there, which is okay. Peter, why Peter Andre? Is he? It's like what? Yeah, apparently bizarre scenes as pop star Peter Andre writhes on stage with boisterous Tories. Okay. Very, very strange. Very, very strange. But did you hear that they've the new series of Britain's Got Talent? The new judge is KSI. That's funny. I don't know if you know KSI, who is a YouTuber who started his career harassing young ladies, but I don't think you can see those videos anymore. Pranks. Well, they've got him judging Britain's Got Talent. It's like, really? It's scraping the bottom of the barrel there. I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. Obviously, they couldn't find any, singers, comedians, entertainers to do the job, so they got him in instead. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I'm hoping this isn't behind the Mail Plus headline. No, here we go. This is 9 everyday habits that can ruin your sex life. Leaving your socks on. I'm guessing it. Leaving your socks on. Number 1, not looking after your teeth. Apparently, oral hygiene is directly linked to sexual performance. I still got all my teeth. Still got them. And gum disease triggers low levels of inflammation in the bloodstream. There you go. Did you know that? Not talking about the big stuff. What's that then? Not confronting problems. Unresolved issues lead to emotional distance. Oh, this is written by Tracy Crouch. Talking to Tracy Cox. Cox. Sex problems. Cox. Tracy Cox. Just saying it. So yeah, having a bad communication. Spending too much time on social media. In bed. Can you imagine doing that? No. Apparently, using social media can make you feel less like having sex, apparently. So limit screen time. Number 4, not getting enough quality sleep. Well, if you're stumping, how are you getting to sleep? Because you're up all night stumping. Come on, not drinking enough water? But then you've got to stop halfway through to have a pee. They're not thinking. Apparently, dehydration decreases the production of semen and affects the quality of their erections. There you go. Demonetise, man. Demonetise. So you should drink about 3 litres of water a day to maintain a healthy erection, apparently. I'll be in the... You never get me out of the toilet. Apparently, number 6 is being a sugar junkie. Sugar levels can affect your sex. Can make you too tired or sluggish to get it on. And it's linked to insulin resistance, weight gain, and reduced testosterone levels. There you go. 7, eating takeaways or ready meals. That's not good for you. So improve your diet. Taking medication and supplements. Now, that's not fair, because sometimes it can affect people. I don't really think that should be on the list, should it? Really? Because if you're on a heart medicine or something. Drinking and smoking too much. Well, I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I've got that going for me. And there you go. And the missus is looking at me going, she's just shaking her head, disappointed there. Can't do that one. Can't do that one. Oh boy, they're talking about the end of the world. There's a lot of end of the world. Trump warns of global catastrophe. If Trump's saying it, we've got to be. I'm sure everything will be fine in the Middle East. It'll all go away, won't it? It'll all go away, won't it? Won't it? Yeah. There's a lot of politics here. A lot of American politics. Wow, that's an interesting one. We've got 2 interesting. Who's been following the P Diddy? I remember when he was Puff Daddy. Do you remember? But yeah, Sean Combs, he's in trouble for all sorts of things. Was it sex trafficking and that? Well, anyway, they're going to publish a list of his accomplices. Yeah. A list of his companies is set to be released as part of a new wave of bombshell lawsuits. And the lawyers involved say it contains a number of household names. Attorney Tony Busby, and it's B-U-Z-B-E-E, so he's a Buzzy B. He says the names will shock you. This was at a press conference. As there are new cases been announced on behalf of 120 victims. He says the day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already because of the nature of the case. I'm going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. And here is Busby saying, we got the names. I wonder who's on the list. I know they're saying Justin Bieber. Everyone's pointing at Justin Bieber, and he's like, well, wouldn't he? He would have been about 12, wouldn't he? Because the complaints, well, he wouldn't have been born. The complaints go back to 1991, with the youngest alleged victim being 9 years old. Now, 25 of the accusers say they were minors at the time. And so, yeah, this is a major incident, and I imagine there are a lot of people who was in his circle are looking pretty nervous and employing their lawyers. Sometimes you need a criminal lawyer, and there he is. He's in prison at the moment, isn't he? So yeah, it's a big case. It's a really big case. It's an odd one, but there's been rumours about his behaviour for years. So yeah, he's accused of orchestrating and forcing men and women to perform in drug-fueled orgies dubbed freak-offs. I thought you got your freak on rather than your freak off. I've never heard of a freak off. I've heard of a freak out and getting your freak on, but I've never heard of freaking off. According to the indictment, investigators discovered a tranche of narcotics, weapons, along with 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. He's a slippery character, isn't he? Oh dear. But yeah, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him. So that's one down. Now, migration. People are going on a lot about migration. You see, we get people coming over on the boats, and that's nice, isn't it? It's nice that people want to come here. But there's been a byproduct of this migration which nobody saw coming. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Apparently, there's been a rise in HIV diagnosis. Yeah, and it's hit a 15-year high. And I reckon this is because of the amount of migrants coming to England. This is UK Health Security Agency, the UK HSA. They found a total of 6,008 new HIV cases recorded last year, including those previously diagnosed abroad, which is an increase of 51%. So yeah, around 53% of cases were diagnosed overseas, with half these cases among people born in East Africa and 22% from other parts of the continent. There's a graph here. I mean, again, this is why you need to deal with these people properly. You know, make sure their health is up to speed, get them vaccinated, and so yeah, it's a real problem. In its annual report, the UK HSA said the rise in HIV testing, together with higher sustained positivity in Black African heterosexuals, may be suggestive of ongoing transmission. However, this number could also be affected by changing patterns of migration, with a recent rise of people diagnosed with HIV abroad arriving in England. So, yeah, here you go. Here's an even better diagram for you. Look at that one. Shocking. I mean, don't worry. No government's going to deal with this, you know, because they can't. They can't. Unless you're like Poland. Again, Poland have got a shoot-to-kill policy now on anyone coming over their border. And they do warn. They say if you break through our border defences, you're going to get shot. I think that's reasonable. We can't do that though, because nobody wants to see people drowning in the Channel. So, or having gun turrets, you know, on the White Cliffs of Dover, taking people out. We can, you know. So Poland can seem to they've got away with it. Oh dear. Well, this is a weird one. This is when you know something's not fair, right? Jonathan Gullis, right? He's an MP who represented Stoke-on-Trent, who was kicked out the last government. He was a Conservative. Yeah? He's been complaining he's finding it hard finding work. He used to be a teacher. And he was speaking on Times Radio at the recent Conservative Party conference, and he suggested he was being discriminated against because he was Conservative, and the teaching profession is mainly a left-wing body, as you are. And the TUC, Trade Unions Congress, basically they said the quiet bit out loud. Oh, here we go. They said the trade union movement will always stand up for workers facing unfair discrimination. This is not one of those times. Yeah. And then, you know, and then they decided to backpedal and say, no. They said this was a tongue-in-cheek response to Jonathan Gullis's accusation that classrooms are full of woke activists. Everyone is an activist now. Ideology is everywhere. Everyone's an activist. He has a point. Again, I'm not a fan of the Conservatives. I'm not a fan of Labour. I'm not a fan of anyone. But his political persuasions shouldn't be a barrier to him finding work. It should have no bearing on it whatsoever. Unless he was, part of one of those extreme parties. But yeah, even a former Fire Brigades Union official, Paul Embry, pointed again. Another union man said, "This is an extremely ill-judged tweet. You should reflect on it." It's just it's just not right. But yeah, he's trying to find work as a teacher and finding it hard, which is funny because there's an awful lot of teaching jobs out there. Meanwhile, did you know that Starbucks can give your teens the risk of depression? Yeah. The pumpkin spice latte has they reckon has an increased risk of giving your teenager a depression if they drink it. One medic has warned that there's shockingly high levels of caffeine in the drink. The famous drink can contain nearly 135 milligrams of caffeine. And of course, this is in excess of the 100 milligrams per day that 12 to 18-year-olds are recommended to limit themselves to. GP Dr. Masrat Gilani not only said this too much stimulant could increase the risk of heart issues, it could also make a teenager more likely to develop mental health conditions like depression. Again, it's the drink du jour. Excessive caffeine intake for young teens can lead to increased heart rate, known as tachycardia, which can be dangerous, especially if a teen's underlying heart condition, says Dr. Masrat Jalani. And they say physical harm aside, too much caffeine in teens can lead to mood swings and restlessness, as well as exacerbating mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, which are already common during adolescence. So stay off the old pumpkin spice latte. It's like, it's not a good idea, is it really? It's not good. Not a good one. I found a story. I've lost it. Did I add it to the reading list? What have I done? Or did I make it a bookmark? I don't know. I'll never find. I can't even. It's that one of those moments where you can't remember. You can't remember the. Nope, can't find it. Doesn't matter. I'm having a brain fart. I'm having a brain fart. I think it was an animal story. So I've just found another medical story. This is the story of Steph Aiello from Glendora in California. She had a devastating car accident. Right, she'd been due to start a beautician training in October 2010, but she was involved in a major crash which killed one of her closest friends and left her paralysed. And she had to have very serious surgery on her body, obviously, because it was a terrible, terrible accident. And she demonstrates now how she passes urine through her belly button. Yeah, because she has no control over herself. They rerouted her internal organs, and she wheezed through her belly button. I mean, I'm glad she's alive. Those surgeons, they're ingenious, aren't they? You've got to You've got to give them some credit for that. But yeah, she called it it was a brutal routine. Yeah, posted to her 260,000 Instagram followers. Miss Hello posted a video where she shows how she uses the toilet. She says, yeah, she's a good quote. Yeah, she holds up a long cylindrical compact blue catheter known as a speedy cath. And she said, I can be anywhere when I want when I'm doing this. I stick it into my belly button and it will reach my bladder. And then she pushes on the catheter and it allows her to urinate. Once finished, she sticks her thumb into a little loop on the catheter bag and it removes the urine. Well, there you go. That's it's certainly saved her life. What else have we got? Have we got any? I'm desperate for some animal stories. They just don't post the animal stories like they used to do. Nope. No, nothing. There's nothing. There's no animal stories at all. Oh no, we've got one. We've got one. We can end on this. We can end on this. This is a farm in East Asia, and there is some footage. This is in Beijing, and it's only a 38-second clip. I'm just waiting for the advert. Yeah, there's an advert. It's for a mobile phone game. And what they've done at this farm is they've tried to recreate Aesop's fables of the tortoise and the hare. So who's going to win, the tortoise or the hare? So they could gamble on this. Hey, you're assisting him. That's cheating. I'll tell you, that tortoise is thundering ahead, and the hare's just kind of he's not. I think the tortoise has got it. I think it's all over. Oh no, he's coming back. Stop. No, the tortoise is just going for it. I think it's all over. It is now. So there we have it. The tortoise really is faster than the hare. Who'd have thought? That was a whale farm. And the staff members held animals at one end, while spectators gathered to watch the action unfold. There was betting. There must have been betting there. But yeah, the hare frequently paused to sniff the ground and clean itself, whereas the tortoise answers to the name of Speedy, I believe. The clip has been posted on X and has gained 42 million views. So there you go. I think that's the thumbnail of the day. What do you reckon? So there you go. Who'd have thought it, eh? Who'd have thought it? The tortoise beat the hare. Now let's see if there's anybody in the chat room. Anybody in? We don't have. Oh, we have 8 people in. Okay, it's not as good. People are getting bored with it now. They're getting bored with it. And Doc's in. He says, "I only just finished last night's video. Barely keep up." Well, and Clive's in. Hi there. Well, I make so many videos so that I'm intending to destroy the internet with my digital output. That's the idea, because eventually the internet will collapse under its own weight, and I want the last video to be one of mine, and that's the plan. So hopefully it's working anyway. That was the news for today. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. But you haven't got any friends. That's why you're watching me. Hey, just saying as it is. And thank you for watching. That was the news. Killing the channel one video at a time. You know you've got to drink it up. Ta-ta.